beautiful friends. So, I wanted to hop on live because you know, guys know me. Once I get journaling my booty off, I usually have a lot going on and I like to be real. Sometimes I feel like I only come on and talk about the real stuff, but I feel like that's who I am. That's what I stand for. And I wanted to really get on and talk about, the past week and a half for me, I'm not gonna lie, has been hell. Like hell. Like everything I feel like has fallen apart. And it's because I had just made a big, huge decision, a big, huge investment. And so, what's the first thing that's going to happen? Fear, anxiety, all these things are going to creep in. And I had to really get connected and ask myself, because I was starting to spiral, you guys. I was telling my husband the other day, I'm a very fearful and anxious person. I've learned how to manage that. I'm not a stressed person. I can't remember the last time I've truly been stressed out because I have such high faith in God and I have such high faith in the direction and the passion that I'm headed in. And I understand sabotage and I understand cycles, but as you guys up level, there is going to be times that you spiral. And I've really allowed myself to spiral the last week and a half. And I've caught it and I've known, but I haven't known what to do. And one thing would like, I had a moment where, my assistant has, went on to kind of do some other things. And so I had to fill in the gaps there, which means I didn't have somebody coming in for my event. So I had to figure out that. Then I had, my husband's truck broke and that's like $10,000. And then he needs tires, that's another $5,000 after I've just made this huge investment. And so remember when I talk about the cycles of money, if not, I'll be talking about it at the money energy workshop. But luckily I understand the cycles of money, and I understand that no matter how famous you are, how big you are, you're still always going to go through these moments of per se scarcity. And then I was like, well, now I'm being an imposter because this is like I know better not to go here. But it just was one thing. My event space canceled due to COVID. I shouldn't say they canceled. Um, they changed their mandates and regulations, and I was like, yep, I'm not doing that. Like, so then I had to find a new space, and which worked out because everything worked out for the better. Now it's a more intimate space. Like, everything worked out for the better, but I wasn't focused on the blessings because I was just feeling squashed. I felt like everybody was just reaching out and like mooching off of me because I had nothing left to give. I was playing the victim. You guys, I fell for it all. I literally, when I was journaling, I wrote down stuff like, oh, I'm like having to learn some new strategies. So I'm changing the way that I'm doing some things. And we know how we feel about change. Like our brain does not like change. And so I'm like, I'm not in control and I don't like that feeling. Um, Going with the COVID stuff, I'm really freaked out about the world right now and like what everyone's conforming to and how they're feeling and where is the world headed for my children? Like you guys, I just spent my whole morning in tears because it finally just all crumbled down and I was like, finally, I surrender. I've even lost friends over this COVID thing and like them not liking my beliefs and just the list goes on and on. My child's sick right now and has croup. I literally, I haven't, like, for a week now, I haven't been able to go to sleep till like 4. Our house was haunted. We had to come get it cleared out yesterday, which, by the way, you guys, Bear River Paranormal, awesome company. But just all of these things, like me and my husband got in a pretty big blow up fight, and it's like, I finally was like, this is not us. Like, I know it. Like, this is old life. This is how I know I've literally allowed myself to cycle. And I was really frustrated. I was to the point I was ready to quit everything, you guys. I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to quit everything. I'm just going to go board horses. And I don't want to deal with people ever again. And I tell you that because I practice what I preach, you guys. Like my life, there's periods in my time where my life feels like it completely sucks. And I practice what I preach. I got to this point this morning where I was just bawling and I was like, I feel so overwhelmed. Like, what do I do? Like, I felt like, ugh, like I was just the victim. And I called my coach and she hopped on an emergency call with me. Thank God for coaches. This is the whole point of having a coach, you guys. Practice what I preach. I have a coach. And I called my coach, and she hopped on an emergency call with me, and she reminded me about feminine energy. She reminded me about the how we need, as feminine people, we need safety and security. We want to be protectors, and or we want to be protected, and we want to protect others. And so in this moment of chaos, I wanted someone to save me, you guys. I allowed myself to play the victim. I just wanted to quit everything so it could all fall on my husband. How many of you can relate to that? Or how many of you are still living that life of like where just everything falls on your husband? And that's not the life I've chosen with him. I've chosen that we grow together. I've chosen that we do life together. I've chosen that we're in this together. And the devil knows how to tear people apart, you guys, especially when you're up leveling to the next level of, you guys, my clients are on fire right now. None of them have been affected by COVID. I have people that, their goal was $500, and after one session, they're making $2,000. I had a client write me today and said she just booked out a full party of people, and she's making all sorts of money. You guys, like, everything is going so good in my life, but I wasn't focused on it. I'm changing lives day in and day out. But what starts to happen is as feminine energy, when things go wrong, we want that safety and security. We want to be protected. But that is why so many women don't step up. That is why so many women don't go after their dreams, don't go after their passions, don't do the things they want, because they give in, they spiral downward, they say it's too hard, they say their kids have all this other stuff going on. I could tell you all of the excuses people have told me in the past week, and the excuses I've told myself, like, it would just be easier. I don't need to work. All of these things. And here's what I will tell you. There's so much going on in the world right now, and people need you. People need your products. People need your services. People need you to get back in your contractual agreement with God or the universe or whatever it is. And that's what my coach did for me today. She says, you need to get back in agreement. God asks us to do things, but he does not ask us to do things alone. God or your higher self, whatever word you want to put in there, asks us to do things, but does not ask us to do things alone. Is it going to be hard? Absolutely. Is it going to be easy? Probably not. Is sabotage going to hit? Yes, that's why I teach sabotage. But what I'm here to tell you is that when you step up and you this is why I love the law of attraction plus the law of action. Nicole got stuck in the law of action. I caught my cycle, and then all this sabotage hit. And because I wasn't back here tapped into my intuition at the highest level it could possibly be, then I allowed myself to spiral, feeling like I had to work to get out of it. Because what's the thing that we do when things go wrong? We think we need to work harder. We think we need to do more. We think we need to, all these things. And I got caught up in that. And I was missing the week and a half of my life that I could never, ever get back. I can never, ever get back that week and a half of my life that I allowed myself to play victim. I allowed myself to blame. I wanted my husband to save it all. I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to deal with anything. I just wanted to cancel everything, be done with everything. But I inched myself step by step, still taking action steps every day, which saved me to continue to head forward. But I was missing my contractual, whatever the word is, agreement with God. I wasn't waking up every morning and saying, hey, who do I need to serve? Hey, what actions do I need to take today? Hey, I don't need to know the how. I just need to move forward. And God promises us that he will expand that. He will bless it. He will bring people into your life. And what do you know, from the second I switch that, my messenger is full of people wanting to work with me. What do you know? People are signing up for the event where it's almost closed out. What do you know? People are no longer wanting to mooch off me constantly and suck me dry. People are wanting to serve me, collaborate, do all these things. What do you know? My child is already starting to feel better. You guys, everything is energy. Money is energy. Life is energy. The way that your kids act is energy. They are sponges. If your family is in chaos, it's most likely because your feminine energy is in chaos. And no matter how bad you want to shut off your gifts, no matter how bad you want to shut off the things that you don't want to do, It's going to eat you alive if you don't do it. If I was to quit today, it would eat me alive because you cannot shut off your God given gifts. You cannot shut off your mission that you're here on earth to do unless you completely avoid it, which so many of you do. You don't even know what your vision is. You don't know who you want to serve, what you want to do, where you're at, what that looks like, because you've made it a logical game. Well, this doesn't align with this. Well, I don't have this in my bank account, so I can't invest in this. Well, I don't even know, blah, 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 blah. All of these different excuses. And here's what I will tell you. I wouldn't be where I am today if I waited for everything to work out perfectly. I push through, I stand up, I take one step at a time, and I put God first. That's my whole entire, like my foundation of everything is energy first, logic second. But you have to have both law of attraction plus the law of action. And so I just wanted to get on and share with you my realness of the last week and a half. Like, you guys, I've almost felt like I've been drowning in emotions because it's just like, boom, here's another thing, boom, here's another thing, boom, here's another thing. But it's because my whole life is changing, and people that are going to, as you change, you're going to change the vibration of people that can keep up with you. You're going to change the vibration of people that, are the things and experiences that are happening in your life. You're going to have to completely change your routine. You guys, we haven't even been eating dinner till like 10 o'clock every single night because I haven't learned to manifest my new routine or manage my new routine. But that doesn't mean that I stop. That doesn't mean that I go back to what was working before just because it was working. It got me to multiple six figures. It got me serving people to where I'm at now. I should just be happy with everything of how life is right now. But I'm meant to serve more. I'm meant to get more people to be able to step into their intuition, to step into their power, to step into making more money, to step into helping actually step up in their family and not just relying on their spouse. Like that for me is like so key, to be independently united with your spouse, that like there could be no stress, because if something goes wrong, I can take care of it. If something goes wrong, he can take care of it. And it's like we're in this together. And so what I really want you to know is I want you to step in and I want you to think about, what is it that you need to do right now? What is it that you need to really recognize or grasp out of this rant that I'm going on? Because maybe some of it resonates with you and some of it doesn't. It doesn't matter. But when things change in your life, even right now, as I'm changing strategies, I'm changing the things I'm doing, I'm kind of doing all of these different things. It's total. And then we have soccer that started and boxing that started and having all these things. If we have to eat dinner at 10 o'clock at night, I will do that until I'm so sick of it. I will figure out a new routine. But that doesn't mean I stop and I go back to our old routine, because that's going to get me old results. You have to change your belief. You have to change your action, which will change your results over and over and over. I don't care if it's COVID right now. I don't care if it's, your spouse is an a-hole. I don't care if you don't have money in your bank account. I don't care what your excuse is until you decide to not have that excuse anymore because you want that safety and security. I get it. Until you stop spiraling and you just say, do the damn thing, go after the damn thing, invest in the damn thing, whatever it is that you need to do that's stopping you, like you have to think of a different way around it. You guys, I'm going to a 2-day event this weekend that I'm speaking at. And like I said, my son woke up and he was croupy, and my husband's like, well, I don't know what to do. You're going to be gone, but like I got this opportunity to make, $9,000 and all these different things. Like, what do I do? And I'm like, what do you feel like you should do? And all these things. And we had to think outside of the box, because he's like, well, no one's going to babysit him. So blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, then just take him with you. I'll give you his steroids if it's an emergency. I'll give you all the natural remedies I have. Just take him with you. Like there's times that you have to make sacrifice. There's times that you have to do things you don't want to do, but sometimes it just has to be. So just because it's not easy, just because it's not inconvenient, doesn't mean you get an excuse to not show up for your family. Because you're teaching your kids right now exactly what to do when times are hard. Exactly what to do when things go chaotic. Do you shut down or do you show up? That's the biggest thing. And so I want you to really, really think about all of the things that you're experiencing in your life right now and really ask yourself, what do you need to do? How do you dive in and establish and know what your contractual agreement is? Well, I would say for me, it's going to my Bible and it's prayer, looking at what the promises are and looking at what I need to detox. I know that's not for everybody, so I would say, what is your higher divine, and what is it that your higher divine tells you to do? And if you don't know that, and if you don't know what the answers are that come to you, because you don't have to think on it, you don't have to wait on it, you don't have to pray on it, like your inner knowing knows. Your inner knowing knows. And if you don't know that, no, it's because your head is so stuffed full of stuff. This is why I do Finance Your Destiny, you guys. And this is the last chance to get in before the doors close. It starts in August and it's already halfway full. And you get a free ticket to the Money Energy Workshop. But this is where I really help people train that when you spiral, you know exactly what to do. You've got to get the junk out of your head, you guys, and you have to know what action steps to take. But how do you tap into that? How do you know what to do? How do you know how to show up? All of those things. And so that's personally what I do is there is no right or wrong answer because everyone's answer is different. There's no box that you have to niche in. It's how do you step out of that box? How do you tap into yourself? And that's why I'm really big into personalized strategies in business. Personalized strategies in business. There's not one size fits all because the things I like to do will be the things that make me money. The things that I like to do are not the things that are going to get you money because you might not like to do them. And so you have to understand, what is your agreement of why you're here? What is your things that you know you're good at, that, like, if you don't like cold calling is not your way to go. If you don't like doing Facebook Lives, now I'm not saying afraid of Facebook Lives. Afraid is a different thing. We don't make fear-based decisions in our life, but if you literally just don't like them, they're not going to be for you. So you have to find the things that your brain understands and your client's brain understands, or your customer brain understands, and you have to bridge them and meet in the middle. You have to bridge them and meet them in the middle. It's divine reconstruction. When you ask for the next level, everything in the current level has to fall apart to come back together. Yeah, the way I love to think about it is your identity has to die at each new level. And I don't mean just like each new little up level. I mean each new level. Your old identity has to die, and part of that gets reborn. Part of that gets comes back awake, but you eliminate the old so that you can bring in the new. But you cannot, and the transition is hard, you guys. The transition's the hard part because that's sometimes the hustle. That's sometimes the schedule's off. That's sometimes that the kids go chaotic. Whatever it is, the transition is the messy. And the messy is where my coach has taught me that the chaos happens and we start to not feel safe. We start to not feel secure. We start to not feel protected, which means we then feel like we can't protect our kids. We can't protect our customers. We can't protect the people that we want to serve. And so I love it, Stephanie. I love it. And that's really, and this wasn't even meant to be a sales call or a sales live at all. But I am here to tell you that it really is your last chance to really dive in to Finance Your Destiny for the whole rest of the year. It's my most famous class. It literally is the thing that takes people from $0 to $90,000, to $0 to $20,000, to $7,000 to $70,000. And these are real results that I'm talking about. I could give you names to each and every individual that I'm talking about right now. Like, the results are unreal because it takes you through the journey, the life experience. What's your goal? How are you going to get there? What's the mindset you have to do to be there? What's the action steps you have to do to get there? You start to go there. I promise you, your life's going to fall apart. Then I help you through that sabotage so you can keep moving through it, and then boom. And I practice what I preach. I got on a call with my coach today. When I felt like my life's been falling apart for the past week and a half. I'm not perfect, because here's what I will tell you is over and over and over, these things are going to continue to happen, you guys. It's life. We're here on this humanly world. It's life. Like, things are not going to go perfect. So when you go follow all these perfect people that have the perfect brand, that have the perfect life, and they're not sharing the real with you, it's because they're not sharing the real with you. It's not that it doesn't happen. And so I love you guys. You guys are awesome. I'm going to be going live over in a different group right now, so I have to hop off, but I love you guys. I hope to see you in Finance Your Destiny. I want to say there's 20 seats left, and that's it. And that's cut off. It's done. And free tickets, if you claim that for the Money Energy Workshop, come with it, and until they run out, because now that we've changed the location, it's limited the amount of people we can have there. But now it's going to be more of like a retreat style versus an event style, which is so cool when it comes to energetic breakthroughs, some core work, some different things we're going to be doing that we wouldn't be able to do in an event space with mics and things. So I'm super excited for it. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Hey, my beautiful friends. So it's been a minute since I have gone live, and so I decided to do a little moment of hopefully inspiring you guys. My goal is to just make the world a little bit brighter today. I feel like there's so much heaviness going on in the world, and there's so much light too. Really, you can look at it both ways. There's always light and there's always dark. And I really wanted to do a video on seeking. I feel like many of you know exactly what you want life to look like, what you don't want life to look like, what you want your business to look like, what you don't want your business to look like. But I don't believe many of you are seeking. And that's what I want to talk about today, is the power of seeking. Because it doesn't matter how much you know you want something to change, or how much you know exactly what you want. If you don't actually start seeking, you're never going to find the opportunities. You're never going to find the answers that you want. And I believe we're living in a world right now with lots and lots of distraction. That's what I like to call it. And none of us know where the world's headed. That's for God to know. You know, it might be headed in a horrible direction. It may be heading, for the better. We have those that think, the world's going to be ending. We have those that think, it's going to be a new beginning. It doesn't really matter though. What it really comes down to is, has your life stopped? Has your life stopped due to all the distractions? And I ask that because I see so many people sidetracked from themselves, sidetracked from their inner alignment of what they want from life. And it's breaking my heart. I'm in BNI, and if you guys do not follow Clear Recovery, they are a great, great resource here locally. And Jay Hymas is the owner, and he was talking about today how they're looking for a therapist because domestic violence is up drastically. And one thing I really loved about him and what he was saying is, he's like, I really want to help the perpetrators. I really want to help the people hurting, as well as helping the victims too. But how often are we looking at our life and looking at what it really is affecting all around us? All of the distractions are affecting your marriage. All of the distractions are affecting your business. All of the distractions are affecting your parenting. Maybe being cooped up inside, maybe going to the grocery store triggers you in some way, or makes you feel embarrassed, or you don't know how to act around people. We're living in a society where we're so focused on, we don't know what we're supposed to do. We don't know where we're headed. We're so lost. We're a society that has become so lost, and it breaks my heart. Because if you're 100% in alignment with yourself, you wouldn't be lost. Because you wouldn't care what people think. You would know exactly what you're seeking. You would know exactly where you're headed. You know exactly what you want your marriage to be like, and you'd be working towards that, and you just feel very free. And to me, I want you to really, I looked up the definition of seeking. And there's kind of three: attempting to find something, attempt or desire to obtain or achieve, and ask for something from someone. And I've repeated over and over and over throughout my time of coaching is number one, you have to know exactly what you're wanting to find, or what your goal is, or where you're headed, or what you want. You have to have a destination. Then you have to know exactly what is your desire to obtain the thing that you want, to create that accomplishment energy. To create that accomplishment energy, how bad of a desire do you have? Is your excuses overwhelming, or do your excuses not matter and your will to really want to change your life important to you? And lastly, ask for something from someone. You have to know exactly where you want to go, but you don't always know how you're going to get there. And I think for me, that's the thing that makes me, I was just at an event this last weekend, and I talked to a lot of people that was hurting. I talked to a lot of people that were distracted, that, I talked to some people that were in abusive relationships. I talked to some people that, had led down the road of addiction. I had talked to some people that they're feeling completely crushed in their marriage. I talked to some people that their businesses are just not surviving. And it's so easy to give up right now because the rest of the world is giving up. The rest of the world isn't focused on their dreams and their aspirations, and how they're going to change this world, or how they're going to change their family, or how they're going to change XYZ. And I want you to seek, you guys. I want you to know exactly what you want, and I want you to seek, and I want you to ask for help. You are not in this alone. There's other crazy people like me out there that are still going after and not letting the distractions get to them. I talk about sabotage all the time. When you start heading towards something, it's going to hit you mentally first, physically second, and socially third. And I think right now is the biggest test ever. And every time you go to hit a new level, the bigger the sabotage, which just shows me I actually think the world is on a great path right now. It's just huge sabotage. There has to be war for the world to change for the better. There has to be people speaking up. There has to be movements. There has to be protests. There has to be, the people have to speak up. And I think that right now the world could look so chaotic, but it only looks chaotic to the people that are watching, not to the people that are seeking, and not to the people that are doing. And so I want you to really dive in and reevaluate yourself today and ask yourself, am I caught up so much in everything else going on around me? Or am I so in tune with what I want in life and I know exactly where I'm headed? That doesn't mean you have to know how you get there. That's what people are for. As you start speaking, people are going to start showing up, you guys. When I didn't know where I was going to host my event, my first instinct wanted to be like, oh, I'll just cancel it. COVID's a great excuse. And I'm like, I'm not canceling it. Are you crazy? I started asking. I started seeking. People started showing up for me. People started to help me figure out a solution. And I know that's a small example, but I'm telling you, if you can just get clear and you start showing up, you start focusing on yourself and your mission and people that you can help and serve and bring light to, you will find the people that can help you. And so I wanted to just share that quick thought. I won't make this a long video. Usually I make it a long video. I wanted to share that quick thought with you. What are you seeking? What are you seeking, and what is distracting you from seeking that? All you have to do is know what you're seeking, and it will all fall in a line exactly how it's supposed to be. So thank you guys. I love you. I hope to see you guys at the Money Energy Workshop, or at least the NLP sales training on Monday that's online. But if not, I hope you got something from this video. I hope that it serves you or gets you just to think a little bit different today. And don't go back to scrolling. Don't go back to searching into everybody else's life right now. Just go be. Go be, meditate, pray, whatever you have to do, and ask yourself, what is it that I need to seek, and who is it that can help me?